Great. Thank you all for joining us tonight for another CKAMA. For those of you that are not aware of what an AMA is, it stands for Ask Me Anything. So Abby here is actually helping answer your questions and talking about her experiences. So I would definitely love to start off, Abby, with perhaps a little introduction as to who you are, what you've been up to, etc.
Yes, thank you, Melvin. My name is Abby Stokes. I'm originally from Washington, D.C. I attended George Mason University. I've had a variety of jobs. I was interested in music a lot as a kid, played several different instruments. But after having an internship in a music studio, I noticed that music industry and all that stuff wasn't really for me. But through my odd jobs of doing door-to-door sales, I've come to get into sales from door-to-door selling Verizon. Then I got into real estate. I did real estate for 6 years. But then in the past year, I've gotten into tech sales. So I've been doing tech sales for a company named Dichotic Software selling cybersecurity solutions. Yeah, that's a brief overview about me.
Thanks, Abby. And so I'll actually kick things off with a couple of questions.
Mhm,
Firstly, I definitely would love to kind of hear your experiences, particularly at Prehired. And actually, let's
mhm,
take a step back even from that. I kind of want to hear your ideas or your thoughts on why sales might be a good option for
mhm,
particular people, maybe that
mhm,
haven't completed college or maybe worked odd
mhm,
jobs,
mhm,
certain things that they can see themselves being successful in a career path within tech.
mhm. Yes. Well, but I've had a myriad of just a lot of weird jobs as in between my main jobs that I've had. I know, like for someone, a lot of my friends, not many of us, or have completed college all the way through. Some have done 2 years, some have done 3 years, some have done only 1 year, and have held jobs in the retail space, particularly customer service. Um, with pre-hired, I've been doing real estate in Washington D.C., which is a very crazy real estate market where you can make 30,000 in 1 month, but real estate is a very feast or famine career where you can make a lot of money in 1 month and then you go 3 to 6 months or however long without a paycheck. So when it comes to like planning things like bills and vacations, you really can't do those things because you have to always anticipate an emergency or paying your bills so far ahead. So I was interested in sales, but I wanted to use my skills in a different field, and I did some research and found pre-hire, I think, on a Craigslist ad. So I applied for the program. I initially didn't get in actually. There was they was like, yeah, we don't think you'll. It was basically a rejection, but they gave you the opportunity to send an email to them and say, if you think we made a mistake, tell us why. And I basically like, this is why I think you're making a mistake because I'm passionate about sales. I'm passionate about just learning more about tech sales. I know this is something I will be very successful in if given the opportunity. And then I had a conversation with Caleb. I think he's still there, and he really vouched for me, and I actually got in. So what pre-hired is a tech sales certification where they teach you how to do sales in a software environment and information technology software sales specifically. So a lot of people have an idea that sales is from the movies. Movies and media is given a really bad like. There are some bad salespeople out there, but a really bad like light on sales in general. So what they teach you is that it is a regular sales job where you have to make cold calls, but it's a certain process and how you do it. Um, you have to send emails, and it depends on what kind of company that you work for. And I work for cybersecurity. So they also teach you what kind, once you go through the process of learning how to sell for a software company, then you go through the process of finding the right company to work for. So I would say people that like are involved in, maybe you've had customer service jobs, or if you've had a lot of very odd end jobs, but you don't really see it going anywhere, I definitely will recommend you trying doing some research and to get into tech sales, and pre-hire was a great entry point for that. Um, what I like about it most is that if you don't have any sales experience, but you have people experience, I would say you would be very successful at it if you're motivated, if you're a hard worker. So when I first started with my first SDR role, uh, it was October last year. I got promoted within 2 months, just basically following exactly what Prehired taught me. Then I got promoted again another 3 months in. So they always they advertise, oh, you'll be making 60,000 or whatever the first year and 100,000. I'm like, okay, maybe those are just the roundabout numbers, but no, it's true. I was like, okay, this is absurd, because I never made that much money consistently before. I've made like 30,000 in a month, and then I went 9 months without a check. So to have that biweekly and then working for a tech company is not the same. Like, we're going through this process of full-time jobs are really transitioning to remote work, but tech companies are not like working for federal government or traditional 9 to 5, or like I used to work at Forever 21 where you had to clock in, clock out. There wasn't really a break. They're a lot more lax. Like, most let you dress comfortably, like in a t-shirt and jeans to work. Most have very generous PTO policies. The company I work with has matching retirement, full health care and dental. I don't pay for none of those things. And as a person coming from 1099 contracting work, those things are very important to me, especially as I'm getting closer. I'll be 30 next year. Those things are important because my knees hurt and my back hurts. So I would say, if you're in a field, or if you have a job where you're not really satisfied in it, but you're great with working with people and you're a hardworking person, I would definitely consider trying it out, or getting just doing some research on it to see if it would be a great fit for you, because it has changed my life, honestly.
Yeah, no, that is so great to hear. And I know that a lot of people probably resonate with that. We probably have a couple of people that also have worked retail and other jobs of sorts, but it really does kind of offer an opportunity for some of you all that want to work in tech, but maybe, software engineering isn't like your thing, or there's a lot
Hmm.
of different options where you can find yourself, being
Hmm.
a valuable team member and really contributing, but also
Hmm.
getting compensated accordingly.
Hmm.
So for your instances, what can people kind of expect to make after graduating pre-hired?
Um, so they really laid out the entire process step by step, where there wasn't really any guesswork. You just basically had to follow directions. So they tell you what kind of company to look for. Because after you finish the program, they prepare you for the interview process, what questions to ask. I got promoted to AE already in my current role, 9 months into being an SDR, but I'm also applying to other account executive roles just to leverage to see. I probably will change, if because right now account executives on target earnings are 120,000 a year. So the great what they tell you to expect after you finish the process is getting your resume together. You work through that the entire time. What questions to ask, doing run throughs on how the interviews to go. 'Cause you'll be 100% prepared for it. But what I like the most is that they teach you what kind of company to work for. You don't want to work for a company where their growth has slipped, let's say 20%, because they don't have a stable revenue. So that might mean they might have high employee turnover rates. They also tell you check the employee growth. If you see a company that's constantly going up in employee growth, that's probably a great company to work for. If you see a company that has like gone down 20%, like they literally cut 20% of their employee staff, that's probably not a good company to work for. So using these tools, what Prehire lays out, it allows you to find what companies are might be a best fit for you, because you don't want to get into this new career and you work for a company and then you're fired within 3 months because the turnover rate is high. And I know with coronavirus, a lot of people are probably looking for more stable work. So what I've noticed, I'm in information security, IT security. We have grown tremendously during the virus. Like, the only reason why my company has let people go is because we're planning to IPO or sell. So, when it comes, we still live in a capitalistic society and people have to look, as great as possible for shareholders. But you pre-hire, after you finish a program, lays out the process on what exactly to do to find the correct company to work for, the steps in getting hired, how to stand out, and all of that. So you don't have to worry about any step of the process. It's laid out so clearly. You just have to follow it.
Yeah, that seems rather useful and super
Mhm.
helpful in terms of making sure that you land a job that you're spending 50% of your waking hours, and it's something that actually benefits you.
Yeah.
It fits your needs. George, did you have a question?
Yes, I had a couple questions. Firstly,
Mhm.
thank you for being here. It's really cool. A little context. I mean, I just finished Lambda School, data science, so I'm kind of, leaving every rock unturned kind of concept of exploring the possibility. I do have a sales background, and I was just kind of, my question to you mentioned employee growth going up.
Mhm.
Now, are you looking at like companies, maybe potential like getting seed rounding, meaning that they're potentially going to be scaling up? Are those kind of potential ways to like reach out to individuals to see if they're looking for sales reps? And the second,
Mhm.
all regarding the salary aspect, is that a base salary, or is it on top of
Mhm.
commission or performance
Mhm.
bonuses on top of that?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, yeah, I was just curious about that aspect regarding the tech,
Okay, yeah.
tech
So
sales.
to answer your first question, revenue, like venture capitalists is invested in them. Venture capitalist firm is always a great indicator. Um, I use LinkedIn Sales Navigator. When you're looking for a job, it's probably best to invest in that premium feature where you can see things about a company, but you don't have to. I know for some people that might not be in the budget, but you can definitely see those things when you look up a company on LinkedIn in their profile. You should be able to see the employee growth and things like that. But yes, a venture capitalist investment definitely is a great indicator that company should be hiring. I know Angel.co, if I'm hopefully, hold on, let me make sure that's right. Angel.co also is a great what is it, Angel.com? I want to make sure I have the right
No, no,
website.
Angel.co. You're
It's a
right.
great
Or
oh,
AngelList.
AngelList?
Yeah,
Angel.co. Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, they let you know a lot of great information about a company's financials. So even a simple Google search will let you know. But yeah, that's very important when you are talking about a career with a tech company. Oh yeah, work-life balance too. You also want to check Glassdoor reviews. Any kind of, I know Angel.co sometimes has it. But yeah, you definitely want to see what people are saying about the company that already work there, because that's definitely helped me avoid some crazy companies. Now, in terms of the salary, that's on target earnings, but with pre-hired, I've hit my quota. The lowest I've hit my quota was 102%. I'm always at 102 to 120% of my quota. So I usually make over my on target earnings. So my base salary currently is 50,000 a year. My on target earnings for the AE role is 110,000 a year. I know with other roles, 50,000 is like average, but base salary is in some other companies are like 60,000, 65,000. And if you're hitting your number consistently, don't be afraid to negotiate for a higher salary. I started at 42,000. And I was like, look, I'm hitting my numbers. Like 2 months in, I was like, look, I'm hitting my numbers. I'm doing this. I want 48. And they came back at 45. And I said, fine. Now I'm at 50,000. So yeah, even as getting to an AE role, I'm definitely at least every 2 quarters, I'm like, okay, can you add 2,000 on top of that? Can you add 5,000 on top of that? Because you always want to get paid what you're worth. That's very important. And I definitely understand some companies, the base salaries may be different, or on target salaries may be different. But if you're following the process, it shouldn't be nothing to worry about. However, I would say with with your base salary, you want to make sure a company that when you hit your number, they have uncapped commission. Because there's some companies that say, "Oh, we cap commissions at this number." I don't really like that, and I also say stay away from companies that say they uh they are at 100%. They only offer 100% commission. No one wants to work on a 100% commission job, because if you wake up in the morning, you get up and you do the job, you do the work, you should be compensated for it. A company that says that they're 100% commission probably doesn't have money, and that's not a good sign, right? So yeah, yeah, account executives in my company, the small to medium business, which it varies how that's categorized in different companies, but for us it's from 1 million to 60 million. They make on target earnings 110,000. Base salary varies. Mid market is from 120 to 150,000, and then the enterprise, and mid market is 60 million to 999 million. And then enterprise account executives, they focus on accounts that are a billion and up, and their on target earnings is 210,000 a year plus. And some are doing up to 300, 400,000 a year, depending on how successful they are. Um, but yes, it can vary. But yeah, those are the on target earnings, base salaries at my company.
I had a follow-up question real quick, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I was looking at my notes. Now, you mentioned about the
hmm
cold calls, emails, and so forth. I
hmm
mean, are you
hmm
utilize and in time of COVID like this? I mean, we're probably going to
hmm
be stagnant like this. I mean,
hmm
I hate to assume things, but I'm guessing you're utilizing
hmm
a CRM. You know,
hmm
you call them, shoot them a text message, follow up until they, say
hmm
stop or cancel, and so forth. Now, regarding that format, when you make a sell, are you doing just
hmm
live demos? I mean, what's that aspect on the tech sales? Since you can't go like door to door right now and do things. How's that
Oh
industry
yeah. Oh
pivoting right
God.
now?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why. Yeah, you're right. Industry does matter. I need to. I'm gonna pull up my work laptop so I can give you this link. But I have on this marketing website. I use this for my prospecting. Companies. No, I'm sorry. Industries that have been affected most by COVID. So of course, it's hospitality, restaurants, and there are a lot. Surprisingly, there are a lot of companies right now. They're in software companies. They're in the hospitality and restaurant field that are hiring for SDRs. I'm not saying don't take the job, but I don't want to be anywhere near travel, hospitality, restaurant selling software to restaurants right now does not seem like something I would want to do, to be honest with you. If half of them are closed, half of them are
Although
struggling to
I
stay
did see
open.
something really cool. I did see something cool where they have a I don't know, what's it, those scans, the QRS scans. Instead of like
Uh-huh.
they have them on the tables, right? So
Uh-huh.
instead of restaurants utilizing menus and have to get rid of them, people can just scan the menu off the table, place the
Mhm.
order, and do that.
Oh
So I guess
yeah.
like technology like that, I guess, could still be worthwhile, I guess, during
Yeah.
times like this.
Yeah, I'm working on this to email it to myself, so you all can have this. But yeah, yeah, it's just something I wouldn't tell you to get into, honestly. But
No, I mean,
uh,
I wasn't. I wasn't. I was just kind of
yeah,
defending those. I
yeah.
think clearly there's going to be a cycle or rotation going on right now. But I mean,
Mhm,
being on a data science is probably going to be more geared to like AI or
mhm,
machine learning or SaaS or
mhm.
some kind of analysis kind of software. I'm guesstimating that I would kind of look into.
Yeah, that's actually oh my goodness, data science. Like, there's this documentary on Netflix about data. I can't remember the name, but they're basically saying data is the new gold. So, I was watching a documentary about Ford, like for the cars. Now they're Facebook with the dot com boom of the early 2000s. Google has become from a struggling company to a $1 trillion company, so a lot of companies are trying to position themselves. Okay, we're moving more to a technological advanced society. How can we make money? So data is has become this huge thing. So instead of Ford saying, let's be innovative and create a car that no one else has created, they're like, no, let's take all the data of everyone who's ever purchased a Ford, scrub that and use that to pitch other services or sell it to other companies. So data analytics, data science is super huge. I know data scientists that have just started out. They're already, these are people that are actually in data science, making like six figures. Now, before I found Prehire, I was in a full stack web development program. So I come from some kind of techie sort of HTML, MySpace, you all know the deal, background. But all the coding literally drove me nuts. Like, coding for a job is way different than just making your HTML banner on MySpace look pretty. It's a whole other thing. But on the sales side, data science is a very profitable career to get into. Tech, right here it says the industry's least affected. I'm still trying to email this to myself. I work for cybersecurity, so emailing myself stuff is very difficult to my personal email. But tech and telecom is number one companies have been stable. Financial services is number two, so maybe some kind of bank, selling to banks might be great industries to look at. Energy and utilities. I know a SDR that moved from San Francisco to DC. He said he was selling like energy generators to big corporate companies. Construction and engineering is doing well, then manufacturing, then healthcare. So I would say those industries have been doing pretty well. But if you can stay within information technology, like the data analytics, data science that you're referring to, I will stay in that realm, like a software company, a IT company that sells software for other companies, like Guy Point. Security is one. What's another? We work with quite a few. Guy Point. I'll have to think. I don't want to just give you random names, but companies that sell. Oh, and if you come from a military background, now there are software companies that specifically sell just for military, and they make crazy amounts, like way more than what a normal SDR or account executive would make. So if you want to go down that route, you can too.
So like the Lockheed Martins and all those kind of
Yeah, I
companies.
forgot the name of this company, but they were looking for like an entry level account executive, and they said the on target earnings was 180,000 a year. Um, but you have to. I know with those kind of companies, they want you to have a what do you call it? The not the back, that fancy background check, security clearance. Yeah, and my Twitter is too messy to have a security clearance. So.
Well, ironically, I should be clear because I was working with a company at a company and we were trying to do when Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, and I got a
Mhm,
case number and they did the clearance on me, so I shouldn't have a
mhm.
problem there.
Yeah, yes, I would
If I
definitely
were to
look
go that
into
route.
that. Yeah, yeah. If you want to go that route, you can definitely look into that. Especially, where did you say you're located, Jorge?
I'm in Florida, so Lockheed Martin, a lot of I mentioned them because I know they're up here in Orlando,
Mhm.
and there's
Okay.
another because you mentioned defense and military, so I
Yeah,
know they
defense, aviation. Oh God, yeah,
yeah. So you have Pratt
you'll never
Whitney's
be out of a
down
job.
here, yeah.
Hmm. Yes,
I
I
hear you
definitely
with
think those
regarding
are
data. I mean,
great
Tesla. I
places.
mean, a lot of people don't realize how much data those cars are collecting on the roads.
Oh wow.
Yeah, quite a bit.
One second. Someone had a question. Also wondering if you have suggestions about how to figure out if this job, if this is a job you enjoy or be good at, or at least just not hate. Okay, so that's a great question because I'm one of those people that have never held a job for like longer than 6 months. Like the supervisor started annoying me. I'm like, I'm out. I'm out of here. So I would say the main way to get involved into a company that you enjoy is to find something that's kind of aligned with what you like. Like if you like real estate, if you like HGTV like me, you might want to be great in like a company that likes kind of does something with real estate. Try to find a small thing that is aligned with your interests that you like. Other things out there is company culture. Most companies that are really keen into company culture will put it on their website. They'll talk about how they allow dogs in the office. They have company parties like twice a week or company lunches. I find companies like that are like great companies to work for if they're like providing lunch once a week. Um, Another thing that I think is very important to me and might be important to you when it comes to work-life balance, that's a big factor for me. I don't want to be with a job who forces me to work and doesn't allow me to take vacation. My job now doesn't have unlimited PTO, but um, my manager is very great in terms of letting me get a day off if I need it. I know being in retail, being a bartender, trying to get a day off is like trying to cut off your pinky with a tablespoon. Like they won't let you. I was like, why is it there if I'm not allowed to use it? So those are things to look for just so you don't get into a company that you hate. Those I would say those things. Just ask what does your PTO policy look like? How would you describe your company culture? When you get an interview, ask questions because you're seeing if it's a great fit for you too. It goes both ways. You're interviewing each other, so don't be afraid to ask those questions. And if you're a part of Prehired, they definitely let you know these are the questions to ask because you don't want to work for somebody that you don't like. Because work giving somebody 8 hours of your life 5 days a week is a lot. So you want to make sure you at least have some kind of general interest in the company culture, or the people. There's a lot of let me see. Let's see. Another question. How would you suggest someone transition from a traditional sales background to a tech sales with no college degree as of yet? So I'll let you know a little hack. Um, most when you fill out an application online, most companies don't even consider your application if you like, do you have a college degree and you put no, the recruiter doesn't even see it. I would say just check yes so they can see your application. You can put on your resume the truth. You go if you get to the part with the background check, you can put the truth. But just so they can consider you, make sure you do that because robots are making the decisions, not people. So a I come from a sales background with real estate. So tech sales was a transition, but the foundational parts of sales is still the same. It's still why do you want to sell, or why are you looking to purchase this whatever software you're looking at? How urgent is it? Do you have the money to do this or what you're seeking? And do you have the authority to make the decision that you're making? I know Prehired teaches this as the acronym PUMA. That applies to any sales career I've had. Whether it was in real estate, was selling Verizon Fios in residential neighborhoods. I can't sell Verizon Fios to the grandmother in the house. It has to be the person who has the money, who has the authority, who has a pain. Their current service is slow, and is urgent in making a change. So wherever, if you're coming from a traditional sales background, transition into tech sales, people like that. So don't be afraid to make that transition. Am I missing any? Oh, okay, great. Did that answer your question, Tatiana?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah. So I think we had one question about work-life balance in tech sales and whether or not that consumes your life. And then I'll go ahead and ask my final question as we head over to discussion.
Okay.
So go for it.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I said, work-life balance is very important to me. I wouldn't have been able to stay on this job for a year if I didn't have it. Speaking to, I'm in other sales groups as well because I like to hear what other SDRs are going through with their companies. To be honest with you, even though I believe I have great work-life balance, some companies have even better than mine. I have I have a month of PTO, like a business. What's that? 20 days of PTO a year I could take. Only 5 days roll over, so I have to take the time because you work for that time. And it's important in sales to take vacations and to take time off because it is a demanding job and you need it. Um, uh, I haven't had an issue with work-life balance yet. If I feel like I need a break, I'm telling my manager, hey, next week I need 2, 3 days. I'm putting it in ADP now. Approve it when you can, please. I'm just really upfront about those kind of things. Because uh, doing something like this, it is a job is a job. And I like having a job where it's outlined what things I have to do to accomplish a certain goal. Because if I didn't have that, honestly I would get bored. Um, so yeah, I would say I definitely have work life balance, but for other companies that I have friends that are SDRs for, they have unlimited PTO. They can take off whenever they want. Um, some companies they have they provide credits towards gym memberships. Some pay for it completely. And we're talking about perks on top of full health, dental, and matching retirement. Some companies pay for your transportation to and from work. Some companies allow you flex work, which is my ideal work environment where I can work from home 2, 3 days out the week. Right now, we're all working from home. There's kind of a push for us to come back to the office a little bit, but I mean, no one is like forcing us. Like, we prefer working from home because I can use my commute time to do more work or to make an extra cup of coffee. So, yeah, work-life balance hasn't been an issue for me at all, but it is a thing in tech that work-life balance is a thing because this is an industry that a lot of millennials are in, and we are reshaping the workforce. We're not in the same workforce as our parents and our grandparents. We're completely changing and shifting how companies treat us. And it used to be where, you know, HR has to, pick through people that whoever applied. Now we have more of leverage when it comes to applying and getting these jobs, because companies know we're interviewing with 5, 10 people, and we're going to pick the best that works for us. So in order to lure people in, they provide more benefits that provide better work-life balance.
Yeah, I love that. Definitely try to gain leverage in any situation you have, and the opportunities become better. Abby, thank you so much. That's a ton of really awesome insights, a lot of great advice. And so before I ask my last question, where can people find you?
Oh yes, I think I paste my LinkedIn. Add me on LinkedIn. My name is Avisha Stokes on LinkedIn. As soon as I see a request, I'll accept it. I'll be on a little bit. If you want to connect with me, I'll make sure. Let me copy and paste my link over here too. Uh, One second. I have like a million tabs open, and I've lost which tab that Zoom is on. But hold on, I'll find it. Can you all
No
see and
worries.
hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. It's right here. That's my LinkedIn profile. Feel
awesome.
free to add me on there. Ask me any questions offline if you want. If you need any advice or help or anything relating to tech sales, feel free to reach out. I'll definitely be glad to help out in any way I can.
Awesome. Thank you. And so for my last question, what can people do this week that'll help them move closer towards their goal of breaking into tech?
I would definitely say if you do not have a sales background, check out Prehired's website. I honestly, I came from sales, but when I went through Prehired's program and I followed the process verbatim, I hit the ground running. I was outperforming people that were been with the company for like 7 months, a year. Literally the first month of me working there, I got on the phones earlier. It's like it makes a difference whether a 3-year old has gone to like pre-K or not. Like you're just way more prepared for the career. You're way more just prepared in terms of what software is used, because tech is different than other jobs. You're using a whole bunch of software to do your job. The CRM software, you're using the software to make calls out of, and send emails out of. You have software specifically for just a lot of information within your companies, like scoop information. Like I could see who's been hired, fired, how much the company has made, what technologies they use, especially if you're working for a company that, let's say you sell HR software. A lot of companies have access to see what kind of HR software it has. So I would say definitely check out pre-hire. Now, if you want to go in cold turkey, uh, it is it'll probably be more competitive. Not saying it's not possible, but it'd probably be a little bit more competitive. But if I was honest with you and wanting you to have the best tools and to put your best foot forward, I would say definitely check out pre-hire, because I would probably be like, scratching my hands out of anxiety trying to figure out how I'm gonna make it through the holidays, because real estate usually slows down around this time. So yeah, I definitely I've been in the very tight places where I was like, how how am I going to get by? And getting into tech sales has definitely erased all of that anxiety when it comes to finances, because I have a very stable job, a very stable career in a stable industry. So if just so you all can put your best foot forward in making a change, let's say today or tomorrow, I would definitely say check out Prehired. And if it's something that you want to get into, and if you like, give it a try.
I love that. I think that this is a pretty great resource for some of you that might want to accelerate your careers, get into tech sales. you heard it from Abby here first, folks. She's gone through it and has seen success. So definitely heed her advice. Abby, thank you so much for spending some time with us. And then for the rest of you all, thank you for also spending some time with us here. You just invested the past 45 minutes towards building a life that you want, a life that excites you, skills, you want to acquire those. So definitely get after it. Reach out to Abby, reach out to me. We're actually going to switch over to the discussions portion now. So go on to careerkarma.com. What we're trying to do is aggregate as many wonderful insights, just like what Abby is able to share with us, with the guests that we come on, but also you all are learning things as well. Definitely feel free to give back in the community, ask questions, answer them, help the people behind you make better decisions, just like Abby is currently doing for you all. So thank you all so much. Abby, I'll actually quickly send you a meeting invite, and then I will see you all. Well, I have a coaching call, so if you all want to join that, feel free to join me. But I will see you all next time on another AMA event. So thank you all.
Thank you, Melvin. You all have a great one.
Thank
All right.
you.
You too. Bye. I guess everyone's leaving. Abby, did you get the Zoom link that I sent over?
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm having like, okay, one second. I'm trying to see what tab. Can you hear me?
Yeah, actually, I think we can probably, stay on here. I'll just remove a couple of these folks. Sorry, guys. Thank you for joining. Most people left, so I think we're good here, actually. Okay. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, that was